Ladies and gentlemen, today, I have the great honor of speaking to you about one of the most remarkable and influential regions in human history, Mesopotamia. Often called the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia was the birthplace of many of the fundamental elements of society that continue to shape our world today. Mesopotamia, often referred to as the cradle of civilization, was an ancient region located in the eastern Mediterranean, bounded by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This fertile land is where some of the earliest human civilizations began to emerge, making profound contributions to culture, technology, governance, and written language. The name Mesopotamia comes from the Greek words, meso, meaning middle, and potamos, meaning river, indicating the land between rivers. It roughly corresponds to modern-day Iraq and parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iran. The earliest known civilization to develop in Mesopotamia was the Sumerian civilization, around 4000 BCE. The Sumerians built city-states such as Uruk, and Eridu. These cities were independent political entities governed by rulers who were often both kings and priests. Each city had its own deity and temple, known as a ziggurat, which served as both a religious and administrative center. The Sumerians are credited with creating one of the first forms of writing, called cuneiform. They etched symbols onto clay tablets using a stylus made of reed. Cuneiform was initially used for keeping records of trade and agriculture but later expanded to include literature, laws, and historical records. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known pieces of literature, originates from Sumer. It tells the story of a legendary king named Gilgamesh and his quest for immortality. Through its themes and characters, the epic provides valuable insights into Sumerian beliefs, values, and understanding of life and death. Following the Sumerians, other prominent civilizations rose in Mesopotamia, including the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. The Akkadian Empire, founded by Sargon of Akkad around 2334 BCE, was the first empire to unite various city-states under a single rule. Sargon expanded his territory through military conquests and established a centralized bureaucracy that influenced later empires. The Babylonians succeeded the Akkadians and are best known for the reign of King Hammurabi, who ruled from about 1792 to 1750 BCE. Hammurabi is most famous for creating one of the earliest and most complete legal codes, known as the Code of Hammurabi. This code established laws and corresponding punishments, reflecting a complex society with established norms and expectations. The phrase, an eye for an eye, originates from this legal system and demonstrates its emphasis on justice and reciprocity. The Assyrian Empire emerged as a powerful force around the 10th century BCE. Known for its military prowess, the Assyrians built an empire that stretched from the Persian Gulf to Egypt. They developed advanced warfare techniques, including the use of iron weapons, siege engines, and cavalry. The Assyrians were also great builders, creating massive palaces and intricate artwork. The capital city of Nineveh housed a remarkable library under King Ashurbanipal, which preserved thousands of cuneiform tablets covering a wide range of subjects, from science to mythology. Religion played a central role in Mesopotamian life. The people believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled natural forces and human destiny. Temples were not only places of worship but also economic centers where offerings were collected, and agricultural production was managed. Priests held significant power and often served as advisors to kings. The religious worldview of Mesopotamians was deeply intertwined with their understanding of nature and society. They believed that the gods needed to be appeased through rituals, prayers, and sacrifices in order to ensure prosperity and avoid disasters. Agriculture was the foundation of Mesopotamian economy. The fertile soil of the region, enriched by the annual flooding of the Tigris and Euphrates, allowed for the cultivation of wheat, barley, dates, and other crops. Irrigation systems were developed to manage water resources and increase productivity. These systems required collective labor and organization, fostering the development of complex social structures and governance. In addition to farming, Mesopotamians engaged in trade with neighboring regions, exchanging goods such as textiles, pottery, and metals. Social hierarchy in Mesopotamia was well defined. At the top were the ruling elites, including kings, nobles, and priests. Below them were merchants, artisans, and scribes, who played vital roles in the economy and administration. Farmers and laborers formed the bulk of the population, and at the bottom of the social pyramid were slaves, who were often prisoners of war or people in debt. Education and knowledge were highly valued in Mesopotamian society. Scribes received rigorous training in reading and writing cuneiform, and their skills were essential for maintaining records and carrying out administrative duties. Schools, known as tablet houses, taught a curriculum that included mathematics, astronomy, literature, and law. Mesopotamians made significant advances in mathematics, including the use of a base 60 number system, which is still reflected today in how we measure time and angles. Astronomy and astrology were also important. Mesopotamian scholars observed celestial movements and created calendars based on lunar cycles. These observations were used to plan agricultural activities and religious festivals. They also laid the groundwork for later astronomical discoveries in other cultures. Mesopotamian art and architecture reflect the values and beliefs of the society. Sculptures, reliefs, and cylinder seals depicted scenes of daily life, religious rituals, and royal accomplishments. Buildings were constructed using mud bricks, and architectural innovations included arches, domes, and the aforementioned ziggurats. These structures served both practical and symbolic purposes, representing the connection between heaven and earth. Although the civilizations of Mesopotamia eventually declined due to invasions, internal strife, and environmental challenges, their legacy endures. The region's contributions to writing, law, urban planning, and science laid the foundation for later civilizations in the Middle East and beyond. The influence of Mesopotamian culture can be seen in the development of classical civilizations such as those of Greece and Rome, and in many aspects of modern society. In conclusion, Mesopotamia holds a unique place in human history as the birthplace of some of the most fundamental aspects of civilization. Its people pioneered innovations in writing, governance, science, and religion that continue to shape our world today. By studying Mesopotamia, we gain a deeper understanding of how human societies evolved and how knowledge and culture were passed down through generations.